Okay, so okay, let's just review a little bit. Yeah, but not really long one, maybe a short one. Yeah, and then we can move to the group presentation. Okay, so can you tell and review about what we have learned so far from last week? Okay, who can start first? Briefly, we can say.
Teacher, let me start first.
Yeah, Mr. Rom, please.
Yes, I want to recover about the lesson that we have learned last week. So we have learned about 4 chapters. Chapter 20, large scale second language assessment, and chapter 20, tool and technique effective second language, and chapter 26, digital technology in second language, and chapter 33, motivation in second language. So I want to talk about, so I have confidence to talk about chapter 23. Chapter 20. Yes, chapter 20, we learn about large scale second language assessment, and the chapter we learn about evaluation teacher themselves. Each teacher want to know about their ability, so they can, for example, they can take an exam, or for example, there are 3 types of assessment. Number 1 is proficiency test. The proficiency test is used in university or for immigration. And number 2 is achievement test. This test is specific language skill for macro skill like reading, speaking, writing. Reading, speaking, writing, and listening. And the last one is diagnostic, and it is this test is to identify strength and weakness and in language proficiency. That's all, teacher. I don't have time to review more, so I focus on my group assignment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Saram, for reviewing about this life scale assessment, right, in second learning. Okay, any other thing, please? Short one, brief one. Okay, other. Okay, quiet here. Quiet mean understood, right? Okay, let's hear from Mr. Chaidi.
Hello, teacher.
Yeah, hello, please.
To me, I like to talk about digital technology and language teaching and learning. Yeah. So just briefly describe what I understand. Okay. Nowadays, technologies play the important role in teaching and learning foreign language. It can make teacher and student to be easy in learning and teaching, and such as giving assignment like that, or taking exam. Okay, yeah. That's all from me, teacher. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chaidi. Okay, other. Yeah, 1 point for each, maybe. Okay, let's hear from Simon. Are you ready to talk, please?
Yeah, good morning, teacher.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, please.
Okay, teacher, I will talk about the motivation in the second language learning. So, motivation we have to learn, and we will encourage students more. And also about the challenge, we have the activity more for engage beyond creating and enjoy learning more. That is also important for the contribute to the language achievement to term as the logistic outcome to the knowledge structure as the language. Also another is the vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, and the four basic skills as the language, including listening, understanding, reading, and writing. That's all, teacher. That's what I understand.
Thank you, Simon, for rest up on this part. Okay, and then okay, let's just hear from the Kuchansi.
Hello, teacher.
Yeah, hello, Lagu. Yeah, please.
Yeah, first I would like to say hello, good morning to teacher and everyone in the class. Yeah, and we have learned something so far from last week, and you from I don't remember someone, maybe Sarom, yeah. The review about unit, chapter 20, that means large scale assessment. For me, I remember the two approach in level assessment in norm reference assessment and criterion assessment or reference. That means for norm reference assessment, we just use it to compare one's performance to the other student in the group. In the group, yes. And for criterion reference, we measure one's performance once again a predetermined set of criteria. And also we learn about how to develop assessments through cycle. The first step is just planning, and the second one is just designing, and the third one is just operationalizing, and move through using, and after that researching. And if you don't see something go smoothly or flow or fluently, we can start from planning to designing, and we can go to researching and go back from planning. And the among 5 steps, we can go and back and reverse something to review them and to make sure one step comes smoothly or effectively. And also, teacher know the useful of assessment by 4 points. The first point is its alignment and goals. And the second one is validity and reliability. The third one is just practicality, and the fourth, content and scoring. Okay. That's all for me. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, Lagu Jansi, for reviewing on this. Okay, any other? Okay, let's hear from Mr. McGrath. Anything that you have learned from last week?
Yeah, lecturer, last week, I got the good points about the role model for motivate the learner to keep studying hardly in their language learning, because everyone they need to improve their mindset, especially with their role model. Role model can be a person who can inspire students to keep learning more, because they need to learn hard to achieve their goal by their role model, especially a best person. That's all for my point, because I focus on the role model. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the role model. Okay. Any other thing? How about Sukhain? Anything that you want to share this morning?
Okay, good morning, teacher. So I want to share something about digital technology in learning. So teacher use like many tools and techniques to try to encourage students in learning. Like they use like online quiz to engage students to learn. They also like create or use video like so that when students see the video from the YouTube, they can like remember more than when the teacher just talks something. So digital technology is really useful for teachers to have like effective teachings techniques to help the student accomplish their learning. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Yeah, technology.
Yeah.
Okay, Ada. About the group support. Okay. Last week you also joined with us sometime, right? Anything that you still remember?
Well, morning, teacher. Last week I have been busy. I did not follow, so I have no idea. Sorry, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, actually, we still have recorded video. Yeah, everyone hope that you can see the link. Yeah, even though but the problem with the time, I'm not sure that you have enough time to go through all the videos there. Yeah, but actually,
Yeah, I will try. Yeah.
Yeah, your class
Have been busy.
just recorded there and placed in the group here. So yeah, from the beginning up to now, yeah, we have all the video there, right? Okay, in case that you want to go back and back up, in case that you miss, okay, it's fine. Okay, so I will not spend longer time on this. Yes, in right now, everyone just here, just more or less the same number as the normal weeks that we go. Okay, so can we just move to presentation? So about group number 2, okay, in case that Mr. Rata is on the way, you just have 2 options. In case that you just can join and do presentation this morning directly, or you can record video later on for Mr. Rata alone. But the other 2, like Mr. Mekra and Mr. Chaidi, if you are ready to do it now, maybe it's fine. You can start doing right away. Okay, on chapter 34 about language learning strategy and language learning style here. Yeah. So are you ready to go?
Yeah, teacher, we are ready.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Mr. Chadi?
Yep, teacher, I'm ready.
Okay. How about Mr. Rota? Will you join both of them this morning, or you want to record it later on?
Yeah, teacher, I can join with both of them this morning.
Okay, yeah. Whenever your turn, you can stop and present is fine, yeah? Don't present while driving, right?
Yeah, teacher, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just so okay, everyone just enjoy and keep attention to the pay your attention to the group number 2. Right? Okay. Yeah, the floor is yours, please.
Hello, teacher.
Yeah, Mr. Chadi.
Should I share screen or teacher Magada do it, because Mr. Magada, he responsibility for the first, and then the second Mr. Rata, and the last I take responsibility. So is it possible for me, or let teacher Mr. Megadan does it.
Okay, yeah, it should depend on you. Yeah, if you think your internet connection is just good enough, yeah, maybe you can share as well, please.
So first, I would like to say good morning and hello to lecturer again. Second hello or second good morning, and hello to my teammate or group members who work together, and good morning to all my classmates. Today I'm very happy to be here to make a presentation. I'm from group 2. I'm from group number 2 that we discussed about the chapter 34 about language learning strategy and style. So it's like you already learned with group number 1 that in this unit we focusing on the learner. Okay, and today our group number 2 is going to discuss more about language learning strategy and style. So my name is Chan Mekra with Bong Viraratha and Bong Chaidi from group 2. So now I would like you to pay attention and keep listening to our presentation, and if you have any question you can ask after at the end of our presentation. Thank you. So now Bong Chaidi, please move to the next slide. All right, thank you so much. So everyone, in this slide for the first, I would like you to see the first point, and it can be the question. If you want to read more detail, you can open your book on page 533. You can see the question, what are learner strategy and learner style? All right. So first I want to tell you something in this slide. Learner strategy are part of strategic competent and are critically important when learning and using earn SFL. So in this point, I would like to tell you some key point. The first key point, you can see the phrase or the word about strategic competence. Strategic competence, I want to tell you detail about this. Strategic competence, it refers to the information structure, or it can be the system. Okay, let me tell you again. Strategic competence is the information structure in working memory, memory, and long-term memory associated with brain information processing system. It refers to the system for using it working on your brain of learning. It can be long-term or short-term, but it can be the process for making your learning more effectively. And the second abbreviation, I can tell you about the SFL. SFL, it comes from the word second or foreign language. So, for example, in Cambodia, it can be the second or foreign language. I think for me, we study English as the second language because we are not born with the English like we learned already in the previous chapter with lecturer. Okay, so here you can take a look to the question again. What are learner strategy and learner style? And for the next slide, I will tell you what are the learner strategy, and after that I will tell you again about the learner style. Okay, Thank you, Sona. Bong Chedi, please move to the next slide. Yeah, okay, thank you. So everyone here, and after I tell you about the strategic competence, and in this point, I will go deeply into the strategy. In teaching or learning English or a language, we need to know the strategy, or we need to know how to study it effectively. We cannot do it without planning or without strategy, because it can be failed. Okay, so here are the 4 strategies that we can use for improving or making our learning more effectively. So now I would like to tell you the 4 strategy. So strategy. Strategy, it refers to the thought or behavior used by learner, or it can be about the teacher. Sometimes teacher need to use their strategy, their own strategy, to make their class more effective, and some students they need to use the strategy to make their learning more effective. So these 4 strategy I can do you from the first strategy. Strategy first, number 1 is about meta-cognitive strategy. So you can see the whole definition that my group assigned for you to see. Meta-cognitive strategy mentally regulate action or behavior. What do you think about this point? About this point, metacognitive, it can be referred to how you think or how you learn. It means it located in your mind. If you have nothing in your mind to learn something, or you have no real goal, you cannot work on it to achieve that goal, right? So sometimes metacognitive strategy, it can be self-awareness, and you can be know the problem that you can solve it by yourself. So metacognitive, it can be in your mind. It's sometimes it relate to the mindset. If you don't have, or you have no self-awareness, or you don't aware about yourself, you cannot work to achieve your goal right now. Okay, and sometimes in this metacognitive, you can use, for example, in this course with teachers Somara, we learn about critical pedagogy. He tell us, or he show us, he give us the course syllabus about his major or his subject. So when we read his course syllabus, we know that what we are going to do to achieve our goal in his subject. So I hope that you got what I mean. So course syllabus is very important for the student to read, follow up, and to follow up their action. So for me, when I learn about his subject, I always double check to his course syllabus, because we know what we are going to study next after that. All right, thank you. Now, so now we let's move on to the next strategy about cognitive strategy. Cognitive strategies, sometimes I used to see in Cambodia or in Khmer language, they call about putti. Okay, you know putti, right? So putti is about how, in this point, our group show you about doing behavior. It means what student or what learner do to make their knowledge more possible. Sometimes they need to memorize, to remember what they learn with their teacher. They need to what? They need to do the action. Sometimes it refers to the mental. I can tell you again, cognitive strategy, it can be the set of mental process or content to achieve their goal or solve the problem, right? So metacognitive, it can be how you remember or how you use the new information in some context. It means you learn and then can to define. For example, when you read a book, you can see some point, you need to define it into your own understanding. we not use that all, right? For in the class when we teach the students need to learn from teacher and they can define the meaning or the lesson from the teacher to use by themselves. Or when we write something, we have to define the topic into our own word and then can we write by using our own word. It means you can learn and you can practice it by yourself. Are you okay, everyone? I hope you understand, and if you have any question, you can ask our group at the end of our presentation. So now let's move to the third strategy. It here about social strategy. Social strategy here is refer to the collaborative behavior. I hope you see the word social. Social is come the word society. Society, it means we live together. So we live together, we have to make the interaction or our relationship in communication. Communication, it means to have to contact to each other to apply what you have learned or what you think in your real life. It means, so I can conclude for you in this social strategy. It refer to the interaction or relationship communication in the society. So affective strategy are behavior allowing learner to identify and adjust their feeling, belief, attitude, and impulse, right? So here we got from the book. Affective strategies. I can tell you something about it refer to the concern with managing the emotion. In the emotion, we can talk about negative and positive emotion. The teacher can play a negative role in developing positive atmosphere. In the class, teacher can lead the student to do what can affect to their behavior. Sometimes we try to escape or avoid the negative emotion for the student. So effective strategy is very important. It can encourage or counseling learner, helping them to identify the achievable aim through the personal activity, pair, or in group work. We need to work together. Effective strategy, the learner have to use to realize or to identify their emotion, what they are now, or sometimes this can have for each one or for each student, they can identify the achievable aim that through the personal activity, pair or group work. It means sometimes they work individual, they work in personal, they work in group. So the strategy can engage them to learn about themselves. So everyone, I would like to make a conclusion for the fourth strategy for you to get the main point, because I talk a lot, so sometimes you cannot get what I want to show you. So now I would like to make a conclusion for this point, for this slide. Okay, in conclusion, teacher need to know about the strategy competence because it control how learner notice and understand new SLS in input. So like I mentioned before about the fourth strategy, it's the part of the strategic competence. So the strategic competence that we need to use to improve our student. So teacher need to know about that because it can control how learner notice and understand the new SFL language. Because we are not born with English, we're not born with in talking since we're not talking English since we were born. We have to learn it. We have to practice it to make it more effective in our real life, both in working and in study. So thank you everyone. So now I would like Bong Chadi move to the next slide. You hear me? Yeah. Thank you so much. So everyone, for the next slide, it's about the learner style, right? So in my group 2, we focus on language learning strategy and learner style. And I told you already about the learning strategy, and here it's about learner style. Learner style, I would like to tell you a little bit about what it is. Learner style refers to personality characteristic associated with specific instance of language learning or using. So in this point, we show you about the 2 points of learner who study with extrovert and introvert style. So I can ask you the question, all of you are learning with extrovert or introvert style? Think in your mind and tell the group when it's possible, because some of you are introvert or some of you are extrovert. So now I can tell you first about the extrovert style, right? Extrovert style, it refers to the learning by asking for clarification, speaker, meaning, or variety. And I don't need to talk much about it, because extrovert it refers to the person who are talk more. Their communication is more possible than introvert, because introvert sometimes they are talkative. They like to communicate with other people. They like to study or work in group, because they don't want to study alone. They study in group. They can ask each other when they have the question. They can ask. Right. So here, why we noted that learning by asking for clarification, speaker, meaning, or verifying. So they need to do everything to make them clarify about their learning or their question. So here we can extrovert style. And introvert style, learning by repeating alone again and again. You see, learning by repeating alone again and again. It's not much. I'm not embarrassed to tell you that I feel that I am an introvert style learner, because for me, sometimes I just keep listening to everyone, and sometimes I feel shy to ask sometimes, right? So for me, as an introvert style, we like reading more and listening more, right? For extrovert style, they like speaking more. Okay, so introvert style, learning by repeating alone again and again. So sometimes they don't like in working with other, because they shy to ask, or they shy to do. Sometimes he knows or they know, but they cannot present or talk it, we can say, properly, because they feel not good or uncomfortable in talking or doing something. So in this point, when we know the learner style, we can separate, or we have to identify who are the introvert style or who are the introvert style. So the teacher will know clearly, will understand or know how to teach them in each group or in each part. So it's very important for teacher to know about the learner style. All right. If you have any question, you can ask me at the end of the presentation. Okay. So Bon Teddy, please move to the next slide. All right. So now, the good point here is the important thing, or we can say the main point in our chapter 4 about learning and learning strategy and learning style, right? So here you can take a look to the question. What is a good language learner? So I can say I am also a language learner, and we have to ask the question, how can we transform ourselves to be a good language learner, right? So in this chapter, we can say, or we can take a look in detail to our point. in our book, right? So we can like look to the following 7 characteristic of and used by good language learner to achieve success. So here we can cite from Rabin 1975, right? So I will show you the 7 characteristic of a good language learner. So the first one, they are willing and accurate guesser, right? They are willing and accurate guesser. They need to try, they need to read a lot. Read a lot. When the more they read, the more we can say in a proverb, the more you read, the better you are. The more they read, the better they are. So if they read a lot, they are able to guess or predict the word correctly. It means they are willing to learn or to study hard in the language. They need to pay attention. They need to create a reading habits or create the listening habit. Okay, or we can say the create the writing habit if they want to be a good language learner. And the second point, they have strong drive to communicate or to learn from communication. Okay, so here we can appreciate to extrovert style learner style, or we can motivate the introvert learners style to do this because they have to communicate with each other, because in study language, if we don't do it more, or we, for example, if we study English, every student in Cambodia, they want to improve their speaking skill more than grammar, writing, or listening, but they want to speak because they think that if they can speak, it means they are good at English learning. So, but yes, it can be the good point for them. However, we need to study more a lot about how to be a good language learner. So here we just mentioned to the communication. Communication is very important for learner, that they have the strong willing or strong commitment to to make more communication with other, to make them more fluently in communicating for the language. What is it? If we study English language, we have to communicate in English language, talk in English, listen the English audio, watch the English video, or read the English book. So you agree or not? You can tell me again, okay? For the third point, they are not inhabited. So inhabited, it can be if we just take a look to the word inhabited, it can be the pressure for all students. So we don't need to do it, right? But here they are not inhabited. It means then student and teacher, for teacher need to make or prepare a comfortable class, a good atmosphere environment for student to learn, to make the student enjoy their learning, right? If they are enjoy in learning, they always come to the school, come to the class early, and respect the classroom rule, and they respect to the teacher and pay attention to the teacher, because they think that study with teacher is more joyful or more enjoyable, right? So they feel happy to learn. So if they are happy to learn, they will get everything that they want, or they will get everything that teacher want to share or want to teach them, right? So here it can be a good language learner. Good language learner, they need to pay attention. They need to have the commitment. They have to have a good relationship with their teacher and all environment around themselves. All right, so I'm much talking now, but I would like to complete our slide later on. Okay, so now let's move to the fourth characteristic of good language learner. Okay, the number four, they prepare to attend to form and constantly looking for pattern in the language. Right. Actually, in academic learning, in this society, we are in the quality of standards of education. They need to prepare to attend to form and are constantly for pattern, right? What does it mean, everyone? Okay, it means they give me a little bit, right? Okay, I would like to tell you detail about this point. It means they need to focusing on what? Communication. They prepare to attend the form, and it means in pattern you can see the word pattern. Pattern, it means what you have to, sometimes we need to follow to define it into our strategy, or we can use it to improve. Learner need to know about themselves. They know who they are, what they are good at, what they are weak, or their weakness, or it means they know how, what should they follow, what should they do to make their learning more effectively. So they have to need the pattern. Pattern, it means what they need to follow in the language, right? So Wang Chedi, please move to the next slide. All right. Number 5, they practice. Practice, practice in this point, they need, if they want to be good at speaking, they need to practice speaking. If they want to get to good at writing, they need to practice writing. If they want to good at listening, they need to listen more. Or if they want to good at reading, they need to read more, right? Practice here, sometimes in the class, teacher always assign the topic to the student, sometimes lead them to find a topic of role play. Role play is more important for students in the class, especially for the young children. Young children like in playing, they want to be actors. Role play, they have to know about their position or their role. They can apply or they can practice. Sometimes role play, teacher assign the topic and tell them some script and lead them to do the activity. In this part, they feel enjoyable because they don't need to sit in a place without talking, without saying, and feel bored, right, anymore, because they are practicing with their teacher, right? So the practice, like I mentioned, the teacher can use the role play, or sometimes assign topic for them to write, assign the topic for them to speak, to read, or to do anything more, and so on, right? So there are many activities for practice in language learning. Okay, for the characteristic number 6, they monitor their own speech and that of other. I hope you used to be in this situation. In learning the language, some students, they didn't care about their weakness or their strength. Okay, they monitor their own speech. It means they have to identify, they try to pay attention, to listen to what they are talking or what they are saying. Is it important? Yeah, it's important. Sometimes some some teacher always tell students, yeah, if you want to improve your speaking, you can read the text loudly and record the audio. After you record it, you can listen it again, and then you know about how your pronunciation correct or incorrectly, and how it work. Yes, it means here it can be a point that they can monitor about their own speech. And about other, some students, when they listen to another influence, uh sorry, when they listen to a good language learner, they speak more fluently. They feel, oh, why are they speak English like a native speaker? Why can't I speak like them? Okay, so at this point, they need to learn more. They need to find how to do like that. And in Cambodia, most students want to speak like a native speaker, but they didn't care or they didn't think that they need to like what they are good at. They very care about how to be a good to speak like a native speaker, but they didn't care. Learn to know it correctly. When they know it correctly, they will become to a native speaker one day. So you got what I mean? So, okay. So the last point, they attend to their, they attend to the meaning. They attend to the meaning like I already talked in some point. In this point, it's very important that I can, when I take note in this point, I read it by myself. I realize that attend to the meaning here, it might be about define what they learn into their mind. You see, you can take a look to the Cambodian circumstance for public speaker in some school when they when they post in the social media, most of them speak very loudly or speak very good, but you know that they speak just follow the script. They try to memorize and then they repeat. You see, they take a look to the script and they try to remember. They try to memorize into their mind. Some yes, it can be good for them to make a good pronunciation, or they can show their competence or their ability, their capacity in public. But when you ask them about the meaning, do they understand? No, some of them don't understand. And long time ago, long time move on, they forget what they present in the public, right? And but if they can define the meaning into their own understanding, they can do it whenever or wherever. When we ask them, they can answer. Hey, and then they will never forget what they learned because it's it can be in their mind, it attached into their mind. They don't need to remember or memorize what they need to do because they understood, right? So they attend to the meaning. It means keep understanding what they learn with the teacher, what they learn from the reading, what they learn from listening, or what they learn from other thing else. So I hope that you got. So here I can define for you like this about the point number 7. Okay, thank you. So Bong Chedi, please move to the next slide. You hear me, Bong Chedi? Next slide. All right. Okay, thank you again. So now, after good language learner, we come here again about the learner style. To separate the different meaning from the previous slide, I can ask you to take a look to the question. What kind of language learner are we, right? In the previous, I just tell you it can be the each personal style of language learner is about extrovert or introvert. It means some of them learn as the extrovert style, some of them learn as the introvert style. And here it refers to the kind of language learner are we. Okay. So here my group just quote from a few researcher, and in the first quotation, sorry, it's not about quotation, right? It's just the point that our group take note from the book in detail and then from the website. So for the first point, some researcher noticed the connection between learner success and their general or preferred orientation. Okay, and Yes, please don't worry. In this point, I will tell you in detail by showing our table that you can take a look at the table with the example and you will understand more clearly about this. Okay, so let me repeat again. Some researchers notice the connection between learner success and their general or prefer orientation toward learning. You know the word orientation. Okay, sometime before we start to work, we always have the orientation with the stuff before we get start to work, right? Orientation, even student also have the student orientation by school. School, they need to orient the student to what they are going to do, what they are going to achieve. Right? So orientation, it can be the process or it can be a strategy. Okay, we can say the activity for teaching, for telling what when we have the focus group that they are going to do, right? So orientation toward learning, yeah. So the second point, Rabin 1975, notice that as a learner, second or foreign language learner who were extrovert and unafraid to make mistake also seem to be good language learner. Okay, here, this point, they come back to appreciate the introvert learner. Because we study in the language, we have to be introvert. We need to more, okay, sorry, more, we need to be more active, more friendly, more we can say communicating in our group, in our class, with other surrounded by other people, right? So Rabin appreciate to the SFL learner who were extrovert and unafraid. Unafraid, it means they do not scare. They do not scare, they are brave. They brave. They do not scare to make mistake. So I used to learn that from my teacher when I was in high school. He told me that, Megra, if you scared or you afraid to make mistake in language learning or in English learning, you will be fail because you are a student. A student, you learn to make the mistake. You learn to make the mistake. Why do we need to learn to make the mistake? Because your mistake are your lesson. If you make mistake, you know what to do it right in your real life or but in your learning. For example, when we study with lecturer, he don't care is it correct or incorrect. Just tell me, just show us what you think in your mind. Just show us about your thought. If you afraid to make mistake, yes, you will be keep silent. You will be stay silent anymore. So when I hear that, yeah, it's very motivate me. Yeah, it inspire me to make the I don't care about the mistake because I'm here to learn. Learn to make mistake will make you more what? More correctly in the next time, right? Thank you. So the last point in this slide is about Stern, 1975. He observed that differential success in learning earn SFL or second foreign language might be influenced by learner ability to handle emotion. Handle emotion here, and when you see, you can take a look to yourself first when you are a young student, or now you can take a look to the adult student. They feel they always give up to their learning because they feel, oh, study language in this language very difficult. I cannot learn. I cannot understand. I don't know how to speak. I don't know how to write. I don't know how to listen. Okay. So they feel low. So they give up to that. So some good language learner, they got inspiration from other successor, other language learner successful language learner. It means it influenced by them. They always watch the video. They always discuss with their teacher. They always read the book, right? So it inspires them to handle their emotion. They feel we can say it can be the passion. The passion can let them to make a great commitment in learning the language. And sometimes they know that now they need to study English language for their study at university and also in their work. Most of them now they study Chinese language because they realize that if they study Chinese, they can get the high salary, and Chinese language now is more popular in each school. Everywhere or other school now they assign or they put the Chinese language into their curriculum. And some workplace now, like in factory, they they also assign or they require the Chinese translator or interpreter to work for them because most of their owner come from China, right? They speak Chinese, so they need to study Chinese to get a good job and get high salary, right? So here, it can be about the commitment from their how they handle their emotion first. It can be influenced by the successful language learner, book or teacher, right? So here the some point that I can tell you by understanding from reading the book and discussing with my team member or group member, and many points that we can discuss more after presentation with lecturer and also group our classmate sharing. So Bong Chedi, please move to the next slide. All right, thank you, Bong Chedi, again. So here we can outline three categories of learner style thought to respond natural orientation of learner. You can see here at the first point is about the eye, and second point is about the brain, and the last point is about I cannot tell you the word in these in the last picture, but I can say it how you how you practice, right? Okay, these three outline we will discuss more detail in the next slide, but I just tell you a little bit more about the first, perceptual preferences. You know perceptual preferences. If you want to see more, you can open your book on page 530, 35, 535. You can see the perceptual preference. So in this part, it means, how can I say about the, if I can tell you the keyword, you can say auditory style, seeing style, and what? And kinesthetic style, right? Auditory style, it means you use your ear to listen. In the class, learner need to use the auditory style to listen to the teacher or listen to their classmate speech or classmate talking, right? So it means here learning by listening. And one more keyword about the perceptual preferences, it about the seeing style. Seeing style is visual style. Visual style, it means you need to use your eye, because your eye used to see. If you don't see, how can you learn? If you don't see, how can you remember? If you don't see, how can you visual into your mind? If you can say some students, they don't need to open their eye, they just listening. Yeah, if they can do it, it good. But if they cannot do, because it's not enough for them, they need to listen and they need to see. The more they see, the more they memorize, or they can transform it into their mind, and they can visual it by their seeing, right? And the one more key point in the perceptual preference it's about kinesthetic style, right? I don't know it wrong or right pronunciation, but not yet. I haven't checked because I cannot found in the dictionary, right? And I just pronounce through the we can say the phonic vowel, phonic sound, right? So kinesthetic style, it means they start to doing thing after they listening, after they seeing, they they start to do, right? They start to do. I mean, they start to, if they take a look to the picture, they listen to their teacher explanation. So the second it's their turn to do it by themselves. For example, teacher write the word on the whiteboard. Student need to pay attention to look at the teacher to see what teacher is doing, is writing, right? And then they listen to their teacher explanation. Teacher need to explain what is this, what is that, why is it, why is that, right? And after teacher explain, it's student's turn. Student need to practice by, okay, teacher asks you to make the sentence. So teacher use the word that teacher explain on the whiteboard. They need use that word to make the sentence to the teacher requirement, right? So it can be simple of explanation, right? All right, so now for the second picture, it's about personal. Okay, let me conclude for you again for the perceptual preference. It refers to the general process. It can be the general process or general style in the world for language learner, right? We do not mention or it's not talk about a specific person, but in general that every language learner can use them, right? Bosrom, do you have any question, right?
Sorry, I don't have questions.
Okay, I see you unmute, right? You might have something to talk. Sorry, and thank you.
Sorry,
So,
Bob.
the second, that's okay, Bob. For the second picture, it's about personality preferences. If you don't understand, you just take a look to the word personality. Personality, it refers to the each person or individually, right? Okay, we have 20 students. They have their each personality of 20 students. So in this point, it's involve learner degree of openness to the new experience and their extroversion versus introversion. It's still related to the extrovert and introvert again, right? Personality preference here, they require students to keep opening their mind. For example, in this class, every student need to keep opening their mind to learn from their each classmate, especially from teacher. Sometimes what teacher told us, we have never known it before, we have never seen it before. Sometimes, yeah, I have already learned, but you need to keep opening our mind to listen to him and respond to his answer, right? And learner might prefer to learn looking outward in social context. It can be the extrovert style, right? And here, if you want to improve more about language, you have to keep opening your mind. It means it can in extrovert style, it learn from other, and then you realize or get awareness our society, especially in social context, right? And I still motivate, if we are teacher, we need to motivate students to keep opening their mind, to learn from each other. If you are introvert, yeah, I appreciate, but however, you should keep learning more from other. Don't just stay silent, because sometimes no one know about you, right? Okay, so the last picture is about the process preference. The process preference is about the what is it about processing preference? If you have more point in detail or you more realize about this at the end of the presentation, I would like all of you to share something for the point that I missed in my presentation, because in my we can say I'm willing to hear or I'm willing to learn from all you, because I'm not good enough, because in this chapter just reading in detail and then define to what we understood, and then we take it to make a presentation, and then I'm still keep learning from other classmates, especially lecturer. Okay, so the processing preference. Okay, it can be the concern whether when learner prefer to process information by seeing the big picture, right? In this point, we will show you about the table. Okay, by seeing the big picture, it means it refer to the global oriented. Global oriented, it means to the whole. Sometimes it can be to the whole world, right? So we can say, so the process preference, I just tell you a little bit that it refer to the process that we use to make our perceptual and personality more effective in learning a language. We need to the to devise to separate the perceptual and personality, and then we need to combine it into the process preference. The process preference, it means use the, we can say, use the standard in learning in learning language, then we can practicing using it to make our language learning more possible, right? So Bong Chedi, are you okay?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Could you
My
please show me?
yeah. My slide presentation.
I can't see your slide, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Internet connection is
yeah, next. Yes, all right. I'm so sorry again, because I already explained in the previous slide in detail about actually. Yeah, so now we can move to this table. So next slide, Bong. Yes, thank you. So this table, you can also open your book on page 536. It show you about the table, the common learner style. In this slide, you can see only two, the perceptual preferences and personality preferences, right? So the first perceptual preferences, you can see the style. Style, like I tell you about listening, seeing, and words, and doing or practicing. So the style, we can say the keyword auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. And description, auditory, prefer learning by hearing. It means you use your ear to listen to others, to teacher, to everyone who stay around you. And visual, we prefer learning by seeing. It means you use your eye. Use your eye to see the other thing. In the class, you can use your eye to see your teacher explanation. Kinesthetics prefer learning by doing. It means you need to practice. For the first auditory example, I learned better by hearing someone explaining, yeah? Like I mentioned about the teacher explaining, right? Yeah, visual style, I learned better by reading it. Reading it, like I mentioned, about watching the teacher explanation, like teacher doing in the class. And here, the example about reading. Reading here, it means you can do it by yourself. You buy the book, you can read what you are going to learn, right? For example, before I get started to make a presentation, I always read out my chapter 4 again, chapter 34 again and again every day. After Bong Chadi prepare the slide presentation, I we separate to the next point for responsibility. I always day by day, hour to hour, time to time, take a look again and again to read, turn back, read again and again, right? So the characteristic preferring by doing, it means I learn better when I experience doing it by myself. For example, like I told you, the teacher assigned the new word for you to make a sentence, right? Or assign the topic for you to write the essay or paragraph. And the personality preferences, I might take long time. Is it okay, lecturer, for our time?
Okay, it's fine. You can continue.
Yes, thank you so much, because the chapter is very long that I have to take long time to explain in detail. Thank you so much. Personality preferences, style, about introvert and extrovert and introvert again. Like I told you, extrovert prefer to learn by looking outward. It means you need to learn from each other. You can look outside, everything around you, okay, to make a good communication. And example, I learn better working with other, yeah, like I mentioned for you, right? So it's introvert prefer learning by looking inwards. I learn better by working alone. Do you think working alone is more better and better? If you think in the negative situation is cannot be good for working alone. But if we think about the learning or positive situation, sometimes they feel that they they cannot walk fast with other. They can do it fastly if they do it alone, right? Because they don't need to discuss. They don't need to wait. So they like doing it alone. So Bong Chedi, please move to the next slide. The next table, right? All right, the processing preferences is more, it take much long time. It take long time than the first and second. And I just tell you a little bit about the style, about global oriented, detail oriented, inductive. Inductive in Khmer we can say Anuman room, right? You can look back to see the Socratic methodology about his strategy for teaching his student. Deductive, we can say about Anuman, yeah, synthetic and analytic, fear sensitive and fear insensitive, right? So I think I don't need to tell you more about it, because I also already explained in the previous slide in detail, and in this table I just want you to look it in detail again and again. If you have the hard document for teaching language, teaching English as kind of foreign language, you can see it again in detail, right? Because I don't need to take time. I'm so sorry that I don't need to take much more time to explain it, because the next slide is my member presentation. All right. I'm so sorry again. So Bong Chadi, please move to the next slide. All right, so here is about the new question. How has strategic competence been conceptualized in second or foreign language learning and use? In this point that our group show you about the several researchers that they have proposed taxonomy of strategy use Oxford 1990 conceptualized strategy used in terms of direct and indirect strategy. Another popular conceptualization of strategy used inspired by Anderson 1995 serial processing model of condition processed by O'Malley and Chamorro, and they define strategy used in terms for meta-cognitive strategy and cognitive strategy and social affective strategy. So let me conclude to don't need to be in detail. You can take a look to the word taxonomy. I feel that you have ever heard about the Bloom taxonomy. It refers to the step for teaching student, right? So I can tell you just a little bit. It's not mean that you don't know, but I need to tell you in my presentation because taxonomy we can get start from remembering, right? Remembering, they need to remember what they learn and then understanding. They need to understand what they remember. After understanding, they need to what? Practice or applying. If they remember, they understand. If they don't apply, it's still like that. It's not more effective. So and then after applying, they need to analyze, evaluate, and then they need to create. So they remember. So we need to identify our if we have the class or we have the student, we need to identify which part of this taxonomy of our student or our student in which part. Remember, understanding, applying, analyze, evaluating, or creating, right? And creating is the last point that we need to lead our student to reach there. It's the last goal. If they reach the creating, yes, our student are more successful. Okay, so here, let me tell you again, how has strategy commitment been conceptualized in SFL learning and it means we can how this strategic competence more important and it related in using our second or foreign language learning, right? So if you think it important, yes, it right. If you don't think it's not important, I have no idea, okay? So Bong Chadi, please move to the next slide, right? Okay, thank you so much. Here the table, it's about that I would to mention about the Oxford 1990. In the previous slide, about Oxford in 1990, you can see the evolution or new update from Oxford. A is about direct memory strategy, cognitive strategy, and compensation strategy, right? Compensation strategy. And B about indirect. Okay, it means you remember about the four strategy of learning language. So they use that into the direct and indirect by Oxford. So direct memory strategy, creating mental image, grouping, applying image and sound. In here you understand that teacher, they always use the flashcard, right? Use the flashcard or use the image to show the student. When they show the image or flashcard to the student, they can get understanding clearly. They can remember or it can be memorized more long time. Next time, when they don't see the picture or don't understand about the script or writing, they just remind themselves to the picture. Yeah, you can. They understand can turn back. And cognitive strategy, It refers to the practicing, repeating, receiving, sending message, getting the idea quickly, analyzing, reasoning, right? Here we can say we use the memorize or memory strategy that when teacher show the flashcard of picture, student need to take a look and then they can memorize in their mind. After that, teacher use cognitive strategy. It means teacher lead them to practice. You need to remind about your memorization or your memory, and then you can practicing by sometimes teacher just show student about a picture of Angkor Wat temple, and then teacher ask student to write about this picture. So write about the picture that teacher is showing. It means teacher lead them to practice their action. So some student can write and some student cannot write. And then we can find another solution to focusing on to double check with the student that are not able to do it, right? And compensation strategy. How about this, everyone? How about compensation strategy? Okay, you can see the example, guessing, overcoming, and limitation in product, right? In this point, I hope you get understand clearly because I have no much more time to talk more, right? So I will ask you to ask the question in at the end of the presentation. So Bon Chedi, please move to the next slide. Okay, so here is just the detail like I told you in the table, right? Taxonomy serves as the basis for strategic instruction in Chamot cognitive academic language learning approach called POLA, right? Designed to weave strategic instruction into content. And Oxford 2011 proposed an updated model of strategy competence which inspired by several learning theory, especially socio theory. And this model focuses on how learners use strategy to regulate their learning behavior, describing meta strategy that guide behavioral strategy, including metacognitive strategy, meta-effective strategy, and meta-socio-cultural interactive strategy. So, let me tell you sorry, let me tell you to the next point in the next slide, right? We have to show you about the table. Please, yeah. Here you can see the table, right? The table here it refer to you hear me, everyone? In this table, it refer to, you can see figure 3, Oxford strategic self-regulation model of language learning based on Oxford, right? You can see meta strategy for general management and control, paying attention, planning, obtaining, and using resource organizing and implementing plan, right? And you can see in the circle, the top circle, metacognitive strategy, have the learner manage the cognitive dimension. Meta-affective strategy have the learner manage the affective dimension, and meta-socio-cultural interactive strategy have the learner manage the socio-cultural interactive dimension. So this meta strategy help the learner control the strategy below. So in this table, it refers to the relationship between the top to the bottom, right? Am I right? So this meta strategy help the learner control the strategy below. You can see the first one, cognitive strategy, have the learner construct and transform, apply L2 knowledge. L2 knowledge it refer to second language learner, right? Using the sense to understand and remember, activate knowledge, reasoning, conceptualizing with detail, analyzing and comparing, conceptualizing property, and going beyond the immediate data, guessing, predicting, right? So here, Oxford strategy self-regulation, student or learner need to transform, need to understand clear about this, because if they study with no planning or with no goal or with no passion, they will be fail in learning, and they have to spend long time, take long time to learn than other. But if they have the specific goal, they have the passion, they have the strategy, they know the process that they are going to learn, yes, I assure that they will be success in learning the language in short period or short time, right? All right, so now my presentation point come to the end, and I would like to transfer the next presentation to Bong Ratha, okay? Thank you everyone for paying attention, listening to me, to my presentation, but not good presentation, right? Thank you.
Okay, good morning,
So,
everyone, and thank you for Magra so much for your always support uh, for the present in the first. Okay, so right now I would like to continue for my presentation. So, Monchali, please help me to move to the next slide. Thank you, Monchali. So, I would like to continue from how my strategic competence be conceptualized with processing model of second foreign language learning and using the conceptual the conceptualization of strategic competence discussed so far treat the strategies as behaviors that learner and use for the second foreign language learning. Shall we move to the next slide? Okay, what is the information processing and how it's related to second foreign language learning? There are three. For the first, information processing refers to the mental activities that humans engage in as they progress from developing conceptual understanding of new information to being able to this new information effortlessly and automatically in the context. And two, with regard to the second language approach. So I will be inform you more in the chat the next slide. Okay, information of the second language approach is processing related to the developmental activity that learner engage in. They are exposed to new linguistic input. And three, they develop the competence to use new language feature automatically in communication. Monchadi, move to the next slide. Okay. For the approach, assume the linguistic input will be handled by connective processing system of human brain. In the system, there are several lessons of the memory. For the first, sensory memory, short-term memory, working memory, and long-term memory. Now, shall we go to the next slide that I would like to explain in the chat? Okay, for the regulatory process, there are focus, think, goal setting, planning, and appraisal. So when we are going to the point for that point, we have to look the environment. In the environment, there are input, output, generation, sensory, conceptor, and effectors. So in that, there are they have to focus on response preparation, working memory, long-term memory, short-term memory. Also, forget the information. So in that, it means that we have to involve some of different the memory by the chart above. Okay, so Bonchari can go to the next slide. Okay, the next how does information processing related to second foreign language learning? So in that, the lecturer as a purpose in 2012 proposed an updated model of strategic competence that includes practice and describe the interface between learning, using and processing underlying a second foreign language learning and use. So in the chart below, shall we go to the next slide? Okay, so the interface between strategic competence and second foreign language process. So the first we have to focus comprehending processing. So comprehending processing for understanding the second foreign language input. And number two, storing and memory processing. So we have to memorizing use second language information. For output processing, so we have the response generation and interaction. Three retrieve process. So mean for second foreign language response preparation and number four output process. So response generation and interaction. So in this chart, so in the comprehending process for the first, so we have put the new language learning of learner, and then that take of the second language determine notice of the input, and then change the second foreign language knowledge mean the system change and restriction and accommodation, and then a response preparation, and for a response generation is mean output from the response of the student also. Okay, I think that's all of my presentation. So let's move to my team group of Bonchai. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you.
Good morning, teacher. Teacher, is it possible to have 20-minute breaks and we spend so very long time here? So I like everyone to break for 20 minutes for coffee break or tea break like that in this morning.
Okay, it's
Before,
fine. Yes. Yeah,
yeah,
it should
before,
be. It should be.
yeah.
So we
Before
will resume back at 10 and 10, right? Is it possible?
Yes, 10 and 10.
Yeah, 10 and 10. Okay, the round number here. Thank you. Okay, so we can break now and see you at 10 and 10, right? Thank you.
Good morning, teacher, and good morning, everyone, again. So let's do my responsibility, but in my responsibility, it's short. Maybe we spend only 15 to 20 minutes long. Yeah. And then we have time to discuss furthermore about our topic presentation. Yeah. So let's move. My section is classroom application. Yeah, classroom application. This is it's as we know that strategy competence is play the important role in language teaching and learning, and this is what teacher have to do in the classroom in order to sorry. Yep, and in order to make our classroom run smoothly and student can understand what we are going to teach and what they expect to learn in the lesson. Yeah. In classroom application, there are 3 parts, okay, 3 duty for teacher to do. First one is raising awareness of learners strategy use. Okay. And raising awareness of strategy awareness of learner strategy use. It means that teacher have to observe student working when they are assigned to do tasks. Okay. And just like example, like our lecturer, he designed us to do a reflection on each topic. So this is it means that this is the classroom application to check that student understand the chapter he teach, or it means that to check understanding of student. For example, like to check understanding new word, or remembering new word, or describing new word like that. Okay. And another one, promoting strategy awareness. Okay, promoting strategy awareness. Promoting a strategy awareness, I mean, teacher wants student to increase learner awareness of rational or for strategy learner use in second or foreign language learning or using the context. Okay. And another way, teacher want to introduce learner to new strategy or model and model their use. I mean, it can be teacher as a role model. Okay. And another one, to give learner opportunity to use strategy. Okay. It means that teacher allow student or give student the chance to practice or to give feedback on the use of that strategy. Okay. And another one, allows students to share reflection, strategy effectiveness, like that. So is it work well with student when we use that technique? Okay, and another one, finding some strategy research that teacher should know. Okay, so in this section we have several steps to do, as you will see in the next slides. Okay, let's move on. Oh. Why? Okay, this is the first one, raising awareness of learner strategy use, and that I mentioned at the moment. Okay, first one, I mean to check student understanding new word and how they remembering new word, retrieving new word, or how they can use the new word from the context. Okay. And next one, promoting strategy. I mean that to increase learner awareness, just like I mentioned at the moment, and rationale for strategy use in SFL learning, use in contact. I mean, they can understand when we use the strategy, they can understand understand what our purpose of our teaching, like that. Okay. And so another one, to introduce learner to new strategy and model as they use, and to give learner opportunity to use strategy, and to allow learner to share reflection about the strategy effectiveness, what they understand about the lesson. The next sections, finding from strategies research that teachers should know. Okay, we have some finding. Okay, first one, strategy use correlate with learning success. And another one, finding meta connection is important. Okay, in this section you have already learned about meta connective or meta connection. It's very similar meaning. Okay, it means that we set or we prioritize goal or plan the respond to the task, like that. Okay, how they can respond to the task when the teacher assign, and monitor their understanding in comprehension check. Like that. Okay. All right, let's move to the next slide. Okay. This one, I am going to talk about future trend. Okay, future trend. Both Oxford and Pomeroy, and 2011 and 2012 acknowledge that much of learning is situated in social cultural context, and it's immediate through dialogue interaction among student and teachers. So it means that the strategies in learning or teaching, it can be changed in the future in different situation, like that. Okay, and let's move on to the summary. Okay, the last section of my presentation. Strategy competence can be defined in terms of meta-connective, meta-affective, and meta-socio-cultural interactive strategies. And all this kind of term you have listened to Mr. Camera. Yep, he did the presentation. Okay, and he explained much about all this term. Yep. Next one, the 3 dimensions of strategy have differential impact on how learner acquire and use SFL, I mean second or foreign language, as they process new input, store memory, new information, and retrieve information to respond and communicate. And this section is included in presentation. It relates to long-term memory or working memory, like that. And next, learner differ widely in strategy they use. Next one, meta connection is highly correlated with learning success. Another one, learner style or a person prefer habitual way or learning can affect strategy use and learning outcomes. Learner need to develop repertoires of effective strategy that can be develop reflexively and respond to changes condition of learning and use. Okay, this means that the condition of learning we can change. We have to be flexible and what strategies should be used when we use this one. It's not success. It isn't successful, so we have to change another strategy like that. And last one, teachers structure tasks to advance SFL processing and promote strategy awareness and implement. Okay, just to promote strategy awareness, it is include in classroom application. It is important for student to know what strategy is being used and what should they do in that strategy. Okay. So this is the end of my presentation. I think it just like a very short presentation because the main part, Mr. Megara, he took responsibility for that. Okay, for the learner style and a lot of strategies competent, okay, like that. So let's move to question and answer. If anybody have any question, you can ask, and our teams will have each other to answer the question. Anybody has question? Hello?
Okay, so clear as I listen to the group presentation. Yeah, if you have some question, please. Okay, all the group member will try to answer your question. Okay, you can ask or you can add in some case, we can say, right? Please.
Yes, for sure. If some point missing, you can add. Is anybody here?
Okay, quiet here mean understood all, right? Okay, if nobody asks, I just have one question. Okay, yeah, it can be to the presenter or everybody here. Okay, why do you think learning style and learning strategy are important for learners? Okay, it can be important for learner as well as teacher, you can say.
Yes, sure, teacher. I can answer this question. Thank you for your question. Your question is why is learner style and strategy as important as FS, F, SFR learner and teaching learning, right, teacher?
Yeah, just
Yeah. being a teacher, it is important to know that what kind of our student are. And if we know what kind of learners style they are, it means that it is easy for us to adapt our teaching strategy in order to let students understand our lesson or our objective effectively. Example, if we know that our student is auditory learner style, but we use different techniques that they don't understand, so we have to explain them again and again in order to let them know, to let them understand the meaning from the context, like that. Okay, thank you, teacher.
Thank you, Mr. Chadi. Okay, Mr. Magra,
Sorry,
anything?
teacher.
Yeah, please.
Can I share a few idea in my understanding as a learner too, right here? In my opinion, I think learning strategy and learning style very important for language learner, because if we are a language learner, we have to know what we should do to improve our language learning. In do that, we not just do it, but we have to know what strategy that we should do to accomplish our goal or achievement more quickly, or we can say, if we don't know the strategy, how can we do it effectively, right? We do it because we want to achieve our goal or our achievement more effectively without taking much time. If we don't know the strategy, we don't study with strategy, yeah, we are going to take much time to do it. And moreover, about why we the strategy and learner style, so that's why we always, our school education or about education, why they require teacher to study about the pedagogy, because teacher, when teachers study about pedagogy, they will know what they should do to teach their student more effective, or they can achieve the objective more effectively. And learner style is very important for learner and also teacher, because for teacher can know what are their who are their student, because it means learner style, it refer to the learner, what they are good at, about their strength, about their weakness, what they are interested in, and they know who they are, how they should do to achieve their objective, right? Thank you, teacher. I can talk about a little bit about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Magra. Okay, I'm not quite sure whether Mr. Rapta can answer. Yes, and he may be on the way. Okay, so are there any question? Do you want to add to the group related to the topic? Okay, quiet here, very quiet. Again, the group presentation tells you very detailed, so clear, right? Very clear. Is it? Okay, for group presentation, have you prepared quiz for all of your classmates here?
Yes, for sure, teacher, but it's a very short quiz.
Okay. Yeah, maybe
I
you can administer it after this, okay, or you want to do it now. It depends on you.
I think I want to assign after the break.
Okay, yeah.
I prepare for online quiz, teacher.
Okay, yeah. So just drop the link after that,
Yeah.
and then everyone can do it, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, yeah. So ready for the quiz?
It's short and easy.
So easy, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any part that you want to discuss now, everyone? Any question? Just no, okay. Okay, so it seemed like enough for this morning. Yeah, but I have also prepared a slide with some example of the point. Yeah, and if possible, we better read it through. Okay, I will not try to explain, but just let the volunteer read the slide. Okay, and in case that you have question, yeah, we can discuss. But it's no question, mean everything done, right? Okay, so the purpose of showing this slide is just like we just want to recap back from the group presentation. Okay, and I don't want to overlap with that one as well.